Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. So, taking a look here, guys, I'm going to be doing a weekend huddle. We're going to be calling it the weekend huddle for stocks. And taking a look here, we're going to be taking a look at the earnings and news coming up for the market. So, we can take a look here at this. Hello, hi from Korea. How are you doing? How are y'all doing? Taking a look here, though, we have some big earnings coming up. Earnings season is starting, as we can see here. We have Fastenal, which is kind of an industrial company. We have J.P. Morgan, Johnson & Johnson, Goldman Sachs. We have the big banks. Also, Domino's is interesting. Taking a look here, let's see what analysts have to say. They're expected to report revenue. So that's interesting. Let's go back to the calendar. So we also have a big one, ASML. ASML is one of my biggest positions. So that's going to be interesting this week with ASML since the stock has been rallying like crazy. But we have ASML Wednesday morning, Bank of America Wednesday morning, Morgan Stanley, Abbott, and Prologis. Then we have after the close United Airlines. And then we also have another big company, Taiwan Semiconductor, Thursday morning, Charles Schwab, U.S. Bank. We also have Travelers, which is an insurance company, then Interactive Broker. Then we also have Friday before the open, American Express, and Ally. So there's some big earnings. If you guys have any stocks you want me to analyze, especially that has to do with these earnings, please comment them. If you have any, just comment them down below, and I can go take a look at those. So that we could potentially do here with my analysis platform. If you want to comment anything, honestly, we can talk about that. We also have big news from the market coming up to see if there's any more. If there's any more tariffs. So we have Robinhood and Take-Two Interactive. My take on Robinhood is it's just overvalued. I just think Robinhood is insanely overvalued, me personally. The only reason I really believe that is the one good thing is they have $6 billion in cash, so that looks good. But I think the biggest problem here with Robinhood is they're growing not even that fast. Like they're growing decently, probably 20+%. So if we think they can grow 20%, let's say bear case they grow 10, base 15, then bullish case 20. Let's do that. So say they do that, and then for the future profit margin, right now it's at 50%. So I don't think it's going to get much higher than that. That's pretty much as high as profit margins go, really. Then for the future P ratio with the 10% growth, we could do 25, then do 35, and then 45. Then the shares outstanding, they're increasing at 0.8. So let's just do bear case 1 and then base case 0.5 and then bull 0. And with these numbers, I still get negative. I get basically almost negative returns with Robinhood. So me personally, I don't really think Robinhood's a great investment. I mean, if you think they can grow revenue 20%, it actually doesn't look too bad. But nonetheless, me personally, I think it's still overvalued. So ASML, do I think ASML will beat earnings? Let's take a look at what they're expected for their earnings. Let's look up ASML. Let's see if we can find this. Let's go to ASML. Let's look up ASML. So ASML, let's look at their earnings expected. They're expected a decline from last quarter. We've had some EPS revisions. So honestly, with ASML, I think ASML, me personally, is my largest position. Not my largest, it's my second largest position. But do I think ASML will beat? Honestly, don't know if ASML will beat, but I do think that they're actually going to increase their guidance. That's my take. I think they're going to increase guidance. I think they might actually beat earnings. I think they're going to beat earnings and even increase guidance, but do I think the stock will go up? Honestly, I don't think the stock's going to go up. I think we're going to see a slight decline in the stock price. I think we might have the CEO say some more conservative things like he's known to do. So, yeah. Let's take a look at BMNR. Let's see what BMNR is. BMNR. Let's analyze BMNR. Taking a look at the overview, BitMine Immersion Technologies, a blockchain technology company. So this has... Honestly, I have no clue what this company will do in the future. The reason I say this is because negative net income, with the way with how I do my calculations, honestly, I won't be able to get a great projection because they haven't made any money. That's the real thing here. Because if they were making money, I would say yes, I could be able to do this, but since they don't make money, it's going to be harder for me to get an intrinsic value calculation for this company. So with that being said, me personally, I wouldn't invest in this company just because I like investing in companies that make money, and as we can see, they actually have more negative net income than their current revenue, and that's just a red flag to me. That's a big red flag. Not saying in the future they're not going to do good, but so if you guys have any more stocks you want me to analyze, just tell me. If you guys have any more, I'll take a look at anything. Anything would be great. Taking a look also, the week after that is going to be a huge week for earnings. Yeah, we can do Take-Two Interactive. Take-Two Interactive. So we know what Take-Two, most people probably have heard of Take-Two. It's basically just they create video games, Grand Theft Auto. Take a look at the P ratio. They're not making any money. I wonder why that is. Me personally, I'm staying away from this. Even though GTA could potentially really help this company, the fundamentals just look terrible. With the earnings per share declining every single year, it just does not look good at all. Shares outstanding increasing, revenue is slowing down, just doesn't look good. Even though the stock is up a lot, I think we have to just hope that GTA really helps this company become more profitable. How would I see October Fed interest rate? I think we're going to get a 25 basis point cut. I think we're going to get a basis point cut. 0.25, 25 basis points. KVUE. Let's put in KVUE. So it operates through, so they make Tylenol, they make all these other brands. I've actually never heard of this company, surprisingly. I wonder what the stock price has been doing. Yeah, probably just, it's not doing good. Taking a look at the financials, the revenue is growing 1%, net income decreasing. I'm automatically looking at this and saying it doesn't look good. I would not invest in this company. That's just me. I want to see very good increasing company. what's your view on the stock crash we had? I think we're going to have a slight correction in the market. I think we're going to have a slight correction, and I've actually am hedging. If we take a look here, this is the stock I've been buying. The daily target 2x short. So I'm actually shorting Palantir. I think we're going to have a correction in the market soon, so yeah. But taking a look back at the week coming up, not this week, but the next week, we have huge earnings. Coca-Cola, Lockheed Martin, every single big company, Netflix, Tesla, a bunch of huge earnings coming out. Intel. And then after that, we have a bunch more earnings here. We have all these big companies: United Health, PayPal, McDonald's, Visa, Microsoft, Meta, Google. Every single big tech company is reporting on this week, so it's going to be very interesting here. If you guys have any more stocks you want me to analyze, I can do that. Just comment down below. Let's analyze Palantir. I just recently made a video kind of on Palantir, but I'm technically shorting Palantir. So with that being said, I'm not saying Palantir is a bad company. This is more of a hedge against the stock market because I believe Palantir will go down more. As we see, the revenue growth of 23% over the past 5 years. I think bear case, say they grow 20%, base case 30%, bullish case 40%. These are pretty aggressive numbers too. And profit margin, say the profit margin goes 25, even 35, and then 45. And then a future P ratio of 35. We can do 50 and then 65 PE ratio. And then shares outstanding. If we take a look at the shares outstanding, they've been increasing at 5%. So bear case, let's just say they increase 5%, base 3, and then bullish case 1%. And with these valuations, I get negative 14% returns even with very aggressive numbers. Say they grow 35% each year, we get negative 10%. Even if they grew 45%, I get negative returns, so yeah. Take a look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. I don't know much about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but I can take a look at Coinbase since it's an actual company and has actual free cash flow. Take a look at Coinbase. This is going to be a very cyclical company, so it's going to be hard to get a value for this company. Take a look at the 7-step stock analysis. Doesn't look great. Me personally, I'm not a big fan of crypto. I don't know much about it because there's nothing really backing the price of crypto compared to the stock market. Stocks are businesses, but crypto, the only thing that's behind it is people are willing to pay more for that. So that's the only reason the stock is going to go up. If you have any more stocks, just tell me down below. Also, let me know, what is your biggest holdings? What stocks, what is the biggest holdings you have right now? And also, what are the most stock, what is the stock you want to buy right now, if you could? We'll take a look at Roblox and then Fiserv. I've gone over Fiserv multiple times. I believe Fiserv is very interesting. The only thing I would say I don't like is the amount of debt that Fiserv has. That's the only thing that's having me hesitant on buying the company, and that's the main reason. And with Roblox, honestly, I'm not interested because they're losing money. Do I think it's a good time to buy Trade Desk? Me personally, I just made a video on it. It's not a terrible valuation, but I think it's still overvalued. If we take a look at Fiserv here, let's analyze Fiserv. Fiserv is once again a very interesting company. They're growing 8% each year. EPS growing fast. Profit margins good. And let's take a look at 7-step stock analysis. Everything looks good besides the return on invested capital, and they're buying back a lot. So let's just do bear case 6% growth, base 8, and then bullish case 10. With the bear case, let's do a 15% profit margin, 16, and then 17. Future PE ratio, we could do 17. Let's do 20 and then 23. Now for the shares outstanding, they're buying back at like 4% each year. So let's just do -3, -4, and then -5%. Taking a look here, we get a 12% return with the base case on Fiserv stock. And it looks very interesting to me. Just the biggest problem, like I've said, the amount of debt that this company has. Look at the net income, $3.3 billion. But if we take a look at the debt here, $29 billion in debt. So it's going to take a long time for them to pay off that debt. That's the only thing I don't like about this company. And that's probably why it's trading at a pretty cheap valuation too. And yeah. Let's take a look at Waste Management. Waste Management is a very good company. However, I think it just trades at a very high valuation. Forward P ratio of 27 isn't bad, but for a company like Waste Management, I feel like it's a bit high, growing at 7% each year. Say, let's do bear case 5, base case 7, bullish case 9% growth. And then taking a look at the future profit margin for Waste Management. Say it's, let's do 10%, base case 12, and then bullish case 14. And then future P ratio, let's do 16, 19, and then 20. Let's do 22. Now for the shares outstanding, they've been buying back at about 1%. So not huge buybacks, but they're buying back. So let's do 1%, base case 1.5, bullish case 2. So with that being said, if we get our intrinsic value calculations here, we get a negative return with Waste Management. So it's not looking great for Waste Management. Me personally, I don't know about Waste Management. I just think the best company out there to buy right now is Meta. And if you want to see the recent video I just made, you can go over to YouTube, which you're on right now. If you haven't seen the recent video, I just made a recent video. If we take a look here, I just made a recent video on, let's see if we can find it. I can't stop buying this undervalued big tech stock. So I just made a recent video on Meta. So Meta is one of those companies I continue to buy over the past few days and weeks. I think Meta is it's a great time to be buying Meta stock today. That's just what I believe. Why do I believe Meta is a good buy? I just made a video on why, but I can get into why, and I can actually show y'all the PowerPoint I made for this. If we take a look at Meta investment thesis here, I believe Meta has one of the biggest platforms out there. We also have Meta, as we can see, they have Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, Messenger. I also believe with their social media platforms, three out of the top five is made by Meta. And I believe actually Instagram and TikTok do have a duopoly between each other, where Instagram Reels is actually taking over TikTok, I believe. Also, we have Threads. They're also still a pretty big part of Meta. They're fifth in the App Store. And we also have Meta making their own chips. And we have the Metaverse going forward and their Meta glasses. Taking a look at Meta here, if we look up Meta here, we can see is down to 705, but everything looks pretty good with Meta besides in 2022 when we had a pretty good correction in the market and a huge tank in the stock price. But here's another thing, the fundamentals look great for Meta, 7 out of the 7 key metrics. If I put in my intrinsic value calculator, even if I'm conservative, I'll be very conservative here, 8, 10, and 12% growth numbers. Future profit margin, we could do 35, 40, and 45. Right now it's at 40. I honestly think it could even go higher. But now for the future P ratio, let's just do 20. Let's do 24 and then 28 P ratio. And they're buying back at 2% each, 2.5%. So let's do 2.5 base case, then bullish case 3. And with these very conservative numbers, let's get an intrinsic value calculator. We still get 12% returns with the base case. I believe these are insanely low conservative numbers. I think they can grow actually 15%. And if they grew 15%, I think we can make at least 17 to 20% on Meta stock. So that's why I'm buying Meta right now. So that's the main reason why. Can I analyze Trade Desk? I did make a video on Trade Desk just like a day or two ago, I think. But I can take a look at Trade Desk here. Taking a look at Trade Desk, if we go to the 7-step stock analysis, everything looks good except the shares outstanding. And the growth numbers look very good for the Trade Desk. So if we do our intrinsic value calculator, let's say bear case 10. Let's do bear case 10, base case 16, and then 22% revenue growth. Future profit margin, let's do 15, 20. Let's do 15, 18, and let's do 15, 18. And let's do 21. Now for the future P ratio, I think let's do a 24 P ratio. Base case, let's do a 34 P ratio. And then bullish case, let's do 44. Shares outstanding are increasing, I think. Let's see, yeah. Shares outstanding are increasing by 1%. So let's do 2%, 1%, and 0%. So let's calculate the intrinsic values, and we get about a 4% return with Trade Desk. So I personally think it's a bit overvalued right now. I think, like I said in my video, if it got under 40, I'd be interested. But right now, I think it's just overvalued. So if you guys have any more stocks you want me to analyze, just comment them down below. If you guys have any more, just tell me. I'd gladly go over any stocks we have to analyze. If you guys have any, that'd be great. So if we have any more stocks y'all want to analyze, then I'll analyze them. Let's look at Upstart Holdings. What is Upstart? Just UPST, I think. UPST. Hopefully that's right. Yep. UPST. Taking a look here, they do have a lot of debt, which I don't love. They have a good amount of debt and they're not profitable. Me personally, I wouldn't be interested in this company. Take a look at the net income going negative. Yeah, me personally, I'm not interested in this company just due to the past fundamentals and just the revenue, just the growth rates aren't here for this company. Me personally, I don't like it. That's just what I believe with Upstart. So if we have any more stocks, I can take a look at them. Also, comment down below what stock do you want to buy next? What stock is looking like the best buy right now to you? Let's take a look at Astera Labs. Let's see what ticker is Astera Labs. ALAB. Let's take a look at ALAB. Real huge increase in revenue here. EPS though negative. Once again, me personally, I don't really like investing in companies that aren't profitable or not. They need to start to actually get near profitability, and here, right here, the EPS has not been getting much, hasn't been getting better at all. It's been getting worse over the past few years. So me personally, I'm not interested in this company, and that's just what I believe. That's just how I invest. I like investing in companies that are already more established, not necessarily more established, but at least making money. That's what I want to see. So with that being said, they're not making any money right now, so I'm not interested. If you guys have any questions, just comment them. I can try and answer them. If you have any questions about any stocks, anything about the stock market, I can try and get an answer. Yes, I personally just like investing in companies that are already profitable and have earnings because it's a lot easier to predict and get an intrinsic value calculation. With my intrinsic value calculator, if they're not profitable, it's hard to get a true valuation, and it's really hard to get a good value if a company is not profitable. And that's just what I personally believe in my investing philosophy. So yeah. So actually the EPS can't be negative if the earnings is positive. The only reason I think this is showing this is because if we take a look here, if we take a look at the, let's go here, let's go to the financial charts. Even though it shows here that the EPS is negative and then the net income is positive, this means this company has probably just become profitable. this year. So this is the trailing 12 months profitability, and then if we take a look here, this is actually the 2024. So in 2025, it's actually I'm assuming it's positive now. So that's how this works, because this doesn't show 2025. These are full year numbers. And since the trailing 12 months is profitable, that's why it's showing it's profitable in the net income. So if you have any more stocks you want me to analyze, I can analyze them. It's not that I only It's not that I consider both trailing and forward. They have positive net income in the trailing 12 months. So with the trailing 12 months, it takes into account not even the full year. So say it's October, it takes in account from October of last year to October of this year. But since in the financial charts we have 2024, it's only for fiscal year 2024. So technically the net income has become profitable in the trailing 12 months. But in 2024, it wasn't profitable because for that fiscal year, it wasn't. So maybe in 2024, right after 2024, they started to become profitable, and that shows it here on the net income. Do I think Kava is overvalued? Yes, I believe Kava is overvalued. I think Kava is trading at a very high valuation. Honestly, I personally think it's too expensive for their growth rates potential, and just the quality of the business isn't amazing, and I think this company is going to have a rough few years too. So with that being said, thank you guys for watching this live. I appreciate all the people that join. Please subscribe, hit the like button. If you want to go check out the valuation investing website, what are my picks if we get another stock correction? We can go and take a look. Let's go and take a look at my stock watch list. So these are the companies I'm going to be wanting to look at if we get a good dip in the market. First, I have Amazon at $185. That's where I want to buy. Google at 210, ASML 800, O'Reilly at 70 to 60, or AutoZone at 2800. I also have Meta and S&P Global here. So those are the companies I'm very interested in and that are in the realm of possibility that I think I'd be buying. So with Amazon, I'd really want to see that in the 180s to start buying. Thank you guys for watching the stream. I'm going to end the stream here. Please subscribe, hit the like button. If you want to go check out the valuation investing website here, just go and look up valuationinvesting.money or click the link in the description. And thank you guys for watching this live. I really appreciate it. And see ya.